grade 11 mathematical literacy of September 2024. And of course, this is from Malaga province. So moving on to our question 2 of that question paper, it reads the cost per batch is 43 Rand 44 cents, and one batch makes 8 brownies. A further fixed cost of 200 Rand is asked of the learners for municipal cost. Answer the questions that follow. So first part, define the term fixed cost within this context. So of course, according to the context that we have a fixed cost here, we are saying the costs that do not change with the number of brownies. So obviously this cost will going to remain the same. At zero number of brownies, we have that fixed cost is 200 rands. So basically that's what we have in terms of fixed cost. So putting it down, we can see that fixed cost, we are saying the amount of costs that do not change with the number of brownies. So this is our contextual meaning according to information that we have. So 2.2, write a formula to predict the costs. We have to first put down the formula of to predict the cost. So in terms of our formula, we are going to say, this is our 2.2. Of course, we are going to say total costs. Our total costs equal to our fixed costs plus the variable cost per unit times the number of units. Times number of units. Of course, this is number of. So basically, this is what we have on that part. So according to information that we have now, we are going to say total costs are equal to our fixed cost. Remember, we identified our fixed cost as 200. So it's going to be 200. And then we add the fixed variable cost per unit. The variable cost per unit, obviously, we do not include our fixed costs, but if you go at the beginning of the question, they said the cost per batch is 43.44 cents, and one batch makes 8 brownies, a further fixed cost. So it means, since they are saying a further fixed cost, it means fixed cost is not inside of 43.44 cents. So this is the only variable which is matching with 8 brownies. So to get the variable cost per unit, we're going to say 43.44 divided by 8. So basically here now we say a plus 43 Rand 44, and then we divide by 8. We multiply by the number of units. In this case, it's the number of brownies. So basically, this is the formula is asked on this part. Predict the formula. So now on 2.3, you have to calculate the values of A and B, of which we've got A on this part. A is the number of brownies, which means we are going to find this part, of which we are given the total cost is 417 Rand 20 cents. So in that case, we are going to say 417 Rand 20 cents is given on this part is equal to 200 plus 43 around 44 divided by 8 times A, which is number of units as indicated. This is our A. So with that now, we make A the sum of the formula. We can start by taking 200 the other side, whereby we say 417 417 Rand 20 cents, and then we subtract 200. If we take 200 the other side, it becomes a negative. It is a positive on this side. It goes the other side, it becomes a negative. So it's equals to 43 44 times A. And this is over 8. So we do that, we see that clearly it becomes 217 Rand 20 cents equal to our 43 Rand 44 over 8. times A. And of course, we multiply by 8/43.44 to eliminate, to take this the other side. So it means we are going to say 8/43.44 times 217 there equal to our A. So on this side, if we multiply by 8/43.44, it's going to eliminate this 43 around 44/8. So this one becomes 1. Then you divide again, it becomes 1. So it becomes 1 into 1, it becomes 1. 1 times A, you get to 2 to your A. So we calculate it like that. You see that you're going to get your A as 40. So 40 is supposed to A. So that's what we have for the A. Then the calculation of B, with the information given, then we have to calculate our B. So this is the cost now. So in other words, you're calculating total cost. So according to our formula, remember, we are now calculating total cost. So we are just going to say our B, which is our total cost, is equals to 200 plus 43 around 44/8 times A, times number of brownies, of each number of brownies in this case is 60. So multiply by 60. So calculate it to see that the answer that you are going to get, B will be equal to 525 grams. 525 rands 80 cents. So basically, this is what we have on calculation of B. Then go on to the next part, which is now 2.4. Use annexation B to sketch the costs. So we have to go to annexation B. This is our annexation B. We're given a graph, and we have to sketch according to our person. We have to sketch the cost curve. And of course, we know that we can start with the first coordinate that we have 0, number of brownies being 0, cost being 200 rand. So we see that we have got cost on the vertical axis and number of brownies on the horizontal axis. Number of brownies on the horizontal axis. So 0 is to 200, and the 0 number of brownies we are in here is equal to total cost being 200. So it means this is the first point that we can indicate. And then we go to the last point. Remember, you can just make 2 points so that you can come up with a straight line. So on the last point, we have got 80 is to 634, 634 rands 40 cents. So we come here, we see that 80 is on this part. So we go up to 634. We are here. Here we got 500, 600, we got here. So in terms of 34 rands 40 cents, we can just approximately put it as 634 on this part. So approximately we can sketch it on this part. Then we join the two points with a straight line that is from the first point to the last point. So in that case, we come up with our curve. So we see that this becomes our cost curve is indicated, the cost curve. So we can just label it costs. So this is what we have in terms of sketching. Then we move on to the next part of our question, 2.5. How many brownies should be sold, and what is the amount to break even with the cost? So of course, to break even, we know that to break even, we've got total revenue. At break even, total revenue will be equal to total cost. That is to break even. Then you see the number of brownies that are there in the intersection of the total cost curve and the total revenue curve. So in this case, we have got the cost curve, and then the revenue curve, we have it on this part. This is the 45-degree line represents the revenue curve. So they are intersecting at this point. So we can just maybe indicate the point of intersection is at this point. So with that now, we try to see what actually do we have in terms of number of brownies. But if you go down, we see that we are here. So approximately, we have got 40 here, and of course, this can be 43. So it can break even at 43. So we are saying at this point can be 42 or 43. So 43, that's where we have the break even is the number of the brownies. So the number of brownies is 43 brownies. So basically, this is what we have in terms of our question 2. Question 3, the grade level says raised 20,000 rands. They would like to invest money for 3 months. There are two options that the bank offers them. So first part, 4% per year, simple interest, and as option 2, 0.3% per month, compound interest. The first question shows that the total amount of money in the account for option 1 will be 28,280. So of course, option 1 is using simple interest. So on our calculation, we are going to say our 4% times 28,000. Then the answer that we get, we add it to 28,000. Of course, this is per year. The interest that you're given for simple interest is per year, which means it's equal to 12 months. So after getting your answer, you're supposed to reduce it to 3 months as indicated by the question. So you multiply by 3 over 12. You reduce it to a proportionate 3 months. So we are going to say 4%, which is 4 over 100, and then we multiply by 28,000. So if you multiply it by 28,000, let's try to calculate and see what we get. You're going to get your 1,120. So after getting 1,120, of course, this is for 1 year, or we can just say for 12 months. So then to reduce it to 3 months, we are now going to say your 1,120 times 3 over 12. So you calculate it, you get 208. So 208 now is for 3 months. So going back to our question, it requires that to calculate the total amount of money in the account. We should verify that it will be 20,208. Of course, now we add 20,000, which is the principal. It becomes the total amount. Equal to your 20,000. And then your 280. So you will get your total is 28,208. So that is now the total amount. So it means it is equal to 20,280. So we have verified. So we move on to the next one. Answer the following questions using option 2. So option 2 is applying the compound interest. So on the compound interest now, first question is saying calculate the amount in the account after the first month. And then we are given 0.3% per month. So this one is per month. So we're just going to straight away use the 0.3%. No proportionate reduction in terms of 0.3%. So in the first month, this is 3.2.1. It's going to be 0.3 over 100. And then we multiply by the total amount, which is, of course, 28,000. So you apply like this, the amount that you're going to get is 84. Then now you now say equal to total amount now will be equal to 28,000 plus 84. Get your total is 28,084. So this is on the first part. Then we go to 3.2.2, calculate the amount in the account after the second month. So after the second month now, we are now going to say the second month, we are not going to use the total amount for the previous month. So it's now going to be 0.3 over 100 times 28,084 over 1. So we calculate it and see what we get. We are going to get your answer. So you get 84.25, so 84 and 25 cents. So to get now the total amount for the second month, we are now saying the principal that we had for the second month is 20,084 plus 84 and 25 cents. So when we add now 28,084 plus 84 and 25 cents, you're going to get your total is 28,000. So of course, on our calculation for the interest for the second month is 28.252. So you can put the figure in full. So it means here we can put our 2 again. So if we add the two figures, you are going to get your total is 28,168 rands. And then of course we've got a 0.252 again, which of course you can always round up to 2 decimal places. So with that now, it becomes 28,168 rands, 25 cents. This is 25 cents. So this becomes the total amount for the second month. So we move on to the next question, which reads, calculate the amount in the account after the third month. So third month, we'll do the same. For the third month, still 0.3%, which is 0.3 over 100. And now we multiply by the principal of the total amount for the previous month, which is going to be our principal for third month. So it becomes times 28,168 rands 25 cents. Of course, we divide by 1. So let's just try to calculate and see what we get there. So on this part, you are going to get your answer is 84. 84.504. 504.756. So you can put your decimal places in full and round off the final answer. So to get the total amount for the third month, we are going to say the principal for the third month is 28,168.25. We add the interest for third month, 84.504756. So you get your answer is. So as well, we can try to add and see what we get. You get your answer is 28,252.75756. So this is your total amount for the third month. And of course, we can always round off to 2 decimal places. It becomes 28,252 rands. And this becomes 76 cents. So this is the final answer for third year. Then in terms of the next question, it requires us to compare the two options. Now saying the teacher said that the option 1 is the best option. Do you agree? Then you explain your answer. So of course we have to calculate the interest for the option 1 and option 2. And then compare the interest. So you say option 1. Of course, option 1, we did calculate the final amount that we had for option 1 was 20,208, and then we subtract 20,000. That was the initial principal. So 20,280 minus 28,000. And then you get your answer is 280 interest for option 1. So option 2, we are saying the final total amount for third year is 20,252.76, and of course we subtract the initial amount, which is 20,000. So let's see what we get there. So we are going to get your answer is 252 rands, 76 cents. Then we go back to the question to see what the question says. It says explain which option is better. So according to what we have, we can see that option 1 has got a greater interest amount than option 2. So option 1 is better. So going back again to the question, saying teacher said the option 1 is the best. So of course, option 1 is the best. Why? Because we are having more interest on option 1 than option 2. So on our comment, we are saying the teacher, and therefore, yes, the teacher is correct. So this is on question 4. And of course, this is our question 3, and of course, we still have our question 4. So this is going to be your question 4. So for question 4 reads the grade 11 group has made so much money that the school has decided to sell brownies in the tuck shop. They need to buy a mixer and want to buy it at home on a hire purchase agreement. So information given in terms of the purchase is here. We're having it here. So whereby the total amount that needs to be bought for is 9,349 rands. Then we are given deposit 12%, and then this is another option of installments whereby you pay a deposit of 12%, and you've got 500 rands per month for 24 months, which is 500 rands per month times 24. Then we go to first part, calculate the deposit that needs to be paid. So deposit, of course, is 12%, 12% is indicated on this part. So it's going to be 12%, which is 12 over 100. And then we multiply by the amount, which is 9,349 rands. So we calculate it to see what we get there. So we can try to see what we get, and then if you calculate, we see that the answer that we're going to get is 1,121 rands 88 cents. So this becomes your deposit amount, and then we go to 4.2. What will be the total monthly installment be after 2 years? total or monthly installments. Of course, we are given that the installment is 500 per month for 24 months. So it means 2 years is 24 months. So you're going to say 24 times 500 times 500 rands. So we calculate it like that. Let's see what we get. So you're going to get your answer as 12,000. So basically, this is what we have on 4.2. The 4.3, what will be the real cost be for the Kenwood? So we're going to say deposit plus total monthly installments of which we have it is 12,000. So basically deposit we calculated it is 1,121. So it's going to be 1,121 rands 88 cents. And then we add the total monthly installment is 12,000. So we calculate it like that to see what we get. So we get your answer is 130, we get it as, of course, 18,121 rands, 88 cents. So basically, this is the total, the real cost after we've added the deposit plus and the installments. So we go to our 4.4. The school said they will buy another Kenwood in 2 years' time. With cash, calculate the cost of the Kenwood if the inflation is 5.2% and 6.1% for each respective year. So we calculate after the first year, we know that the price is the price that we have is 9,349 is indicated here. This is the price of the Kenwood, 9,349. Then we inflate it with the inflation rate that we are given. So we are saying 9,000 for the first year. We are saying 9,349 times the 5.2 for the first year. 5.2% is 5.2 over 100. So we get it as we calculate it, we get it as 486 rands. Then we say 0.148 according to our calculations. So you don't round it off. We are going to round off the final answer. Then from there, to get now the total amount after the first year, we are now going to say after the inflation, it's going to be say total amount is close to 9,349 plus 486.148. Then it becomes 9,835. And then we have got a 0.148. And of course, this is for the first year. Then we go to the second year. So for the second year, we are now saying the new amount for the first year, which is 9,835.148, multiplied by the inflation rate for the second year, which is 6.1. 6.1 over 100. So we calculate and see what we get is the rate for the second year. You're going to get 599.944,028. Of course, to get the total amount for the second year, we are now saying the amount that we have 9,835.148, and then we add the interest amount, which is 500, the inflation amount, sorry, which is 599.944,028. And we are going to see that the final answer that we are going to get is 10,435.09208. So this is the final amount that we have, and of course, rounded off to 2 decimal places, it becomes 10,435, and to 2 decimal places, it becomes 0.09, which is 10,435 rands and 9 cents. So this becomes your amount after 2 years, well, after we've inflated the figures with the inflation rate. So in the course, this becomes the last question that we have according to this question paper. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. Please let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel, and share the link to our colleagues who are doing grade 11 mathematical literacy. Let's wait and stay tuned for the next videos to come.